Howdy, y'all. So, I had an interesting question that I'm going to answer today, and it's going to be how to tell if a man is attracted to you. I believe this was Lily that asked the question. She's a gym girl. So, I'm going to kind of go over two different aspects of men being attracted to women, and then if you're looking for what I deem to be the only acceptable mate, which is a long-term relationship, I'm going to sort of tell you how to discern which guys are fuckboys and which are the kings, right? Because that's what you ladies want at the end of the day. Sex is fun, but you'd rather have a guy that wants to have sex with you and then actually stick around afterwards. Whereas in today's marketplace, that doesn't seem to happen a whole lot. And the main reason for that is a lot of the signaling that men are receiving from women these days is the signaling that leads to these short-term sexual relationships. It's a lot of promiscuity. The women of today dress in such a way where they're signaling their sexuality above their intellect, above their emotional capability, above their nurturing and maternal instincts. So, for the ladies that are trying to find just a sexual partner, I'm going to keep this very brief because I already touched on what you need to do. All right? You need to make eye contact with them to show that you are interested. You see them. They need to see you. And then all you really need to do is just smile and put yourself in close proximity. That's about it. And the men will flock to you. But the men that will flock to you are more so akin to a fly. That's how I like to view these men. They're weak. They don't want a long-term relationship because long-term relationships are an investment. They are an investment of time and resources, emotions, communication, and that's really what fulfills a lot of women. Women love the emotional aspect of relationships. They like the communication. They want somebody to share themselves with where the other person actually listens to them. What I've noticed through a lot of the books that I've read on relationships and dating, such as this one right here, which is probably my favorite, The Evolution of Desire. There's also Mating in Captivity, and then in my older days I read a lot of the red pill bullshit, which I don't recommend a lot of men read because it leads you down that Andrew Tate toxic path where you equate your value as a man to how many women you can sleep with instead of your value being equated to the ability to find a good woman, retain her, and have multiple children with her. That's what I want to see from society. I don't like the fuckboy aspect of society. So, going on to how to tell if a man is actually interested in you. Firstly, like I stated with attracting short-term relationships, you are going to need to do a little bit of work, ladies. I'm sorry, you're going to have to do something here. Because for the most part, in the dating process, the man, it is his role to be the dominant one. He's the one that's going to take you out on dates. And I expect a lot of the men, even though we're all here for equality, let's be fucking real, women are attracted to men that take lead. They take charge. They take ownership of the situation. They take the woman out on the date. They pay for the date because they want to give her an experience. All right? So firstly, let's deal with that because I know that there are some guys like, oh my God, but we should be equal. We should split. Shut the fuck up. No. We should not split the bill. If you want to take a woman out and you want access to her sexually, you should be the one that is paying for most of these dates. I understand the coffees or maybe the little gifts here and there, but for the most part, you are taking her out. You want to get to know this girl. You want to experience life with her, and therefore, you should step up to the plate, and you should be the one that dictates where you're going with that relationship. You should lead. Now, back to the ladies. So, the little bit of work that I need you guys to start doing is you need to discern for yourself which men you are actually attracted to. Okay, that's step number one. And you need to play the eye contact game with them. This is where you will look at the guy you're interested in. I kind of went over this with the Gym Crush video, how women show interest. and you need to give them a slight smile. If you are really interested in this guy coming up and talking to you, because the main obstacle for most men coming up and actually speaking to women is there's an internal blockage that we have. We're like, that's an investment of energy right there, and I don't know if it's going to pay off. However, if she smiles at me, there's a high chance she wants to have a conversation with me. That conversation may not lead to a sexual encounter, it may not lead to a relationship, but just her being playful, innocent, and showing me interest is enough of a foot in the door for me to go knock that fucking door open. All right, ladies? So if you want men to show interest back, you're going to need to actually stare at them a little bit first. Now, what I need you guys to focus on, this is where we get into detecting the male interest and the fuckboys versus the kings, is where their eyes are looking. If when you make this eye contact with a man, his eyes are tending to look you directly in your eyes. He's looking into your soul, and he gives you a slight smirk back, or maybe a full smile. It means he's interested in actually talking to you. He wants to get to know you. He wants to come over, have a conversation with you, and most likely that may lead to a date. It may lead to further conversations, an exchange of phone numbers, contact information, whatever the fuck all the social medias are these days. That's what you're looking for. All right? But if this eye contact leads to him just checking you out over and over again, which it goes over heavily in these books, is a lot of guys will just completely ignore what the woman's saying. And he keeps glazing over your body. He's just attracted to the physical aspects of you. Now, those guys are more so looking for the short-term sexual relationships and the flings. That is not what I want you ladies to be looking for. I want you to be looking for the men that are holding direct eye contact with you. Those are the ones that I want you to spend the most amount of time looking at. Okay? Because eventually, they will feel weird if they don't fucking come talk to you. Trust me on this one. I've done this before where I'm very introverted myself. And I like to see signs from the women that are interested in me before I come up and talk to them. I don't like that whole toxic femininity bullshit frame where they think, oh, but if you're a real man, you're just going to come up to me right away. No, I'm not. If I'm a real man, I'm focused on my purpose and my passions first. If I'm at the gym, I'm focused on the gym. If I'm at the library buying new books, I'm buying new fucking books. You are an afterthought to me until you come front of brain. And if you are continuously staring at me, I'm going to look at you. Okay? And then if you look at me and you show genuine burning desire, I am going to come up and talk to you. So that is the level of work that I need the women to start doing in order to attract the men that will come and have a conversation with you. That's what you want, correct? Am I wrong in this, Lily? You ladies want these guys to come talk to you, but we're not going to come talk to the girls that just ignore us. We're not even going to put in the emotional and the mental strain to even think about it. It's not worth our time, okay? Because we don't know if there's any degree of success. And we as men, we're more logical based. We're more rational than the females are, whereas the females are more emotional. So we like to know our probability of success is positive, okay? So that's why you need the smile. Now, in this conversation, when the guy comes up and talks to you, you have to key in on what he talks about. If he's complimenting you just on your beauty and your beauty alone and what you look like, how much he looks at your tops or your bottoms, let's say you're in the gym situation again, and you're wearing something that's revealing of the chest. So you got your cleavage hanging out, you know, some titties, you got that ass, it looks nice. If that's all he's focused on in the conversation, that is a fuckboy red flag, all right? But if he's more so focused on asking you questions, that is how to see genuine burning desire from the man. Because the male equivalent of the female shit test, where women will test a man's actual ability to deal with tough situations by putting us in them, males on the other side will ask questions to females to figure out their long-term viability as a partner. And what I mean by this is the wifey material, the maternal material, and just long-term dating in general. We want to know you are emotionally capable. We want to know that you're mentally capable. We will ask questions that will lead you to talk about things that you've done in your past or in your present moment that show to us your intellect, your emotional capability as far as dealing with difficult situations. And usually, at least for myself, the way I like to do this is I crack mad fucking jokes. I will say offensive things to see how you respond to them. If you're the type of girl that gets upset over jokes, that is a turnoff to the type of men that are like the kings that I hope are everyone on this channel for the most part. Because what a king is looking for is A, she loves humor. She's appreciative of humor. Usually for most men, we like to be the humor producers, and a humor producer also loves having a humor appreciator. Those make the best partners in general. Is somebody who can generate humor, which women love humor in men, and a woman that is appreciative of the humor. She doesn't always have to get the joke, but as far as, she just gives a light giggle. She kind of smiles a little bit. She playfully just banters back and forth with this guy. That's what men really love. So we will try in that conversation to get you to laugh. And if you laugh, that is one way to show a green flag to us, because then we know we can unload our personality more and more, which is one thing that in today's modern dating world is heavily missing. Is guys feel a little too afraid to unleash their personality around women out of fear of judgment. So ladies, if you want to tell if a guy is attracted to you, look at how he acts around you. Is he emotionally secure in himself? Is he willing to say jokes that may be a little off color? They might be a little pushing the boundaries? Because if he is, that means he's comfortable around you. He's not scared of being judged by you. He's not living from a state of fear. And that is attractive to the ladies. And the whole point of this video, in general, is how to tell which men are the best mates for you. I think that's what Lily meant to ask, is she wants to know, how can I tell there's a high-value man that is interested in me, and how do I get him to stay interested in me and come talk to me? Well, you have to be receptive to him. To a degree, and I don't want to seem weird or creepy when I say this, but ladies, you got to be submissive to a degree. Because the more masculine a man is, which is the most attractive trait to females who are in their feminine energy, they're going to take charge. They're going to be dominant. They're going to be assertive. They're going to say whatever the fuck they want because they're living their own truth. And so they need to pair up the best with a woman that is more submissive to that. They want to hear their man expand on their feelings because men have always struggled sharing their feelings. So you need to become a safe space for him. All right? And that's a good way for women to attract men, is becoming that safe space. You need to be accepting of them. You need to be able to talk to them and experience the way that they experience the world, as well as share yourself with them when they ask you questions. Because that's the next point I want to get to, is the question quality that they ask. They're trying to generally figure out, and I'm talking about the first couple dates, first couple conversations here, the long-term viability of you as a partner. And it's weird how this works in dating, because men really view women almost like an asset that is also a liability. And that's what we're trying to figure out. I know that sounds fucked up, but just bear with me and it will make sense, all right? Because to most men, like I talked about before, we're the ones that are going to be paying for things. We have to be forward-looking. We have to plan in the future. So if you are going to be highly costly to us, you're not good for our status, you're not good for our friend group, you don't have a good sense of humor, and you generally are only about yourself, you're cooked. Men are not going to want to choose you for a long-term relationship. However, if you are on the other side of that and you are more submissive to what we want to do, you allow us to step into our masculine male frame and lead the way, and you follow with us. It doesn't mean you're behind us, but shoulder to shoulder. And we're both smiling, we're both bantering back and forth, we're having a good time, we're joking about. That is true attraction. That's what men want in a partner. So to attract the best partner humanly possible, you need to be open and willing to experience a different flavor of life than just whatever you want. We cannot take a narcissistic approach to life and dating and expect to get the kings. Kings do whatever the fuck they want to do. And the women that are the best for them are the ones that are like, hey, you know what? I'm really attracted to the fact he doesn't give a fuck. That is sexy to me, baby. Those women, they get those guys. All right? And those guys do not want to tolerate the boss girl antics. They do not want to tolerate the, you're going to take me here, you're going to do this, I'm going to hold back on sex, I'm not going to give you anything you want, you have to answer me every single moment of the day, I need to know where you are. That toxic stuff is very off-putting. So I know I said the original intent of this video was to be just how to detect attraction and interest from a man, but it's a two-way street. Because the attraction and interest that a woman receives from a man is highly dependent on the type of behavior that the woman shows and the behaviors she elicits in that conversation. All right, there's a little bit of legwork that the women need to do at the beginning to get the guy's attention. And then they need to discern for themselves whether it's a fuckboy or a good mate. And then from there, they need to allow that guy to express himself, because that's how men genuinely grow their interest in the woman, is not being put into a cage. Men do not like being controlled. And that's why so many relationships are failing nowadays, is because so many men will sacrifice who they are to try and make the girl more comfortable, thinking, oh, well, she'll love me more. Oh, she'll want to be with me forever. Oh, she'll be accepting of me one day. One day I'll be able to be who I am on the inside. No, that's not how that fucking works. She actually will lose attraction for you because you keep selling off pieces of your soul to get her interested, thinking it will get you some poontang, but in actuality, she wants a guy that really doesn't give a fuck about her opinion. And I'm not saying in a conversation we don't give a fuck about your opinion, but if you don't like who we are as a person, we will find somebody who does. So if you want to get the guy that is the most attracted to you, you need to be attracted to who he is at his base level instinct. And I understand there are sometimes some bad, negative tendencies. We all have them, some negative traits. And you can have conversations and discourse with this man over the course of a relationship to come together to work on these things. That is important. You need to have those conversations. But right off the bat, if you're saying, I need you to do this, 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 and this, it is going to push the real men away and just attract the fuckboys. The reason it will attract the fuckboys is they don't care. They'll fake it for, a couple weeks or a month, maybe 3 months through a situationship, because at the end of the day, all they care about is pussy, and they don't care about retaining you. So they'll play along to your rules and your stipulations for a while in order to get some cheeks, because they're not staying around. All right, ladies? So let's cool it off a little bit on what we're demanding of the man, and let's open up dialogue and communication and keep it lighthearted. Let's keep it fun. Let's be positive towards each other, because that's what is really attractive to men. All right? And then the men will show higher levels of interest depending on your capabilities to do this, because this has nothing to do with the physical attraction, ladies. This has everything to do with your emotional capabilities and mental capabilities. Men that actually want a long-term relationship, believe it or not, care more about that than your physical beauty. Any day of the week, I will take a 6 or a 7 that is emotionally and mentally sound and has a good spiritual nature about them, than a 10 that has the personality of a fucking broomstick. Like, what am I going to do with that? I don't want to have kids with that. Sure, they might look attractive. They might be good-looking kids, but they're probably going to end up with bad tendencies, bad traits. They're going to be narcissistic, and they're not going to be on the light side and helping humanity further itself in a good manner. That's what ultimately the strong, powerful, kingly type men are looking for. We're looking for a mate that has good traits, good motherly instincts, that will then further our line, our bloodline, our lineage, in a positive light. And I think all the ladies watching, you can all agree, you want a good guy. Although you are attracted to the bad guys. And the reason you're attracted to the bad guys is because they don't give a fuck. I don't think there's any other way to fucking say it. They genuinely just don't give a shit about what you want, and so therefore you're attracted to them, because everything I just stated for the last 20 minutes has been about how you need to give them space to be themselves. That's what the bad guys do better than everyone else. Good guys typically will sell off pieces of themselves to try and be more attractive, but in essence, they lose their attractiveness to women because women want men that are comfortable being themselves. Now, let's get back to actual attraction in, like, let's say a gym setting or whatever. This could realistically be anywhere. But where am I going with this? Proximity and eye contact are probably the biggest two that men will use to show interest in you. Now, we stated before, we want eye contact that is actually eye to eye. We're viewing you for who you are. We're looking into your soul. The next thing we will do is we will be in close proximity to you, and we may give you a stoic face that's like a flat expression or a slight smirk. Men have been trained to not show a full smile for the longest time, and women are actually not very attracted to that. Women want a guy that is more on the shy end. They don't want one that is overly expressive, overly dramatic, because that shows they're a little too far into the feminine energy and less masculine. They want men that are serious. So a lot of the times, ladies, if you want to know if a guy is attracted to you, look at his eyes. Don't necessarily judge it based off his smile, okay? Women, we know if they smile at us, that's genuine interest. But for a man, if he's making prolonged eye contact and continues to make prolonged eye contact, yes, he's interested. If he puts himself in close proximity, looks at you, and then walks to a different place in the gym, the grocery store, whatever it is, but still within distance of you, that is also a sign that he's interested. And the next trait that he's looking for is what I've talked about before, submission. He wants to see you because he's laid the gauntlet down, ladies. He's saying, hey, I'm kind of interested in you, but I want you to come over here. I want you to come put yourself in close proximity. Because just the smile or the eye contact wasn't enough. I need you to do what I tell you to do. Come over here, and then he will approach you. Then he will talk to you. Because a woman that is able to take that leap of faith there and just put themselves in proximity after the man leaves proximity, that is one of the signs that we as men look for. Whereas when I made the Gym Crush video for guys, we look for women to be in proximity to us. I tell the guys in that video to go about their daily life, to approach the situation as if there's no one else there. You're going to the gym? Go to the fucking gym to work out. If there's females that look at you, they smirk and smile, you can see them ever present in the mirrors looking at you, and then they put themselves in close proximity. That's a sign that we need to show that they're interested. And our interest will increase based off of their interest in us. And for the ladies that are looking for long-term relationships, the way I think dating needs to start heading to have less divorces, long-term relationships, more kids, more loving marriages, is the women to lead first. I'm not saying you need to come up and talk to the guy, but I prefer to see most relationships start because the woman is more attracted to the guy than he is to her at baseline starting point. Because at the end of the day, ladies, don't you want the guy that you're the most attracted to? Instead of just suffering through endless relationships and situationships with guys that just approach you first that you didn't even see before. They're just looking at your ass from a distance and come up and like, hey, I'm going to spit some game on you. Which, I mean, let's be real. That's not fulfilling for you. You want the guy that you have to put a little bit of work in. You have to work a tiny bit, make the eye contact, put yourself in proximity, and then that piques his interest, and then you will see his interest grow throughout the conversation. And that's the number one way to tell that he's interested in you. Not only is he having a conversation with you, but he's interested in the future. He's talking about emotions. He's displaying humor tendencies. And other ways to tell on top of that, which are more superficial, and it is what it is. But guys will also size up other men in the gym. You can look at their feet and where they're pointed. The feet will most likely be pointed towards you. Their shoulders will be open and out. If they are, open to the conversation, they will be closed off if they don't want to talk to you. All right? So you want to look for open body language as well as shifting eyes. They're going to be looking directly into your eyes for the most part during the conversation, but they'll also be scanning around for other men, other challengers, because that's just how we're fucking wired. And we will sometimes, which I don't condone, put other men down or talk ourselves up. Men will ask you questions to figure out your viability as far as marriage material, wifey potential, and if you want to have kids. But they will talk about themselves to improve our own status in your eyes, which that will tell you we're interested. If we're trying to flaunt our personalities, much like the male peacock, the fucking feathers, the magical feathers on a peacock serve absolutely no purpose. They're actually a hindrance to survival for the most part because they don't do shit, all right? But they display good genetics to the females. That's why it's attractive in mating purposes, okay? They're essentially physically useless. However, the ability to grow longer, more vibrant feathers shows your good genetics. So men will talk up their status. They will talk up their income. They may talk about what they do. They may point out, how physically attractive they may be, their workout routine. They will try and make themselves seem more attractive. That is a sign of interest to you ladies. So key into that and notice what he's talking about and the questions he's asking. Because a guy that is trying to talk himself up as a status object to you, while also asking questions to ascertain if you are a long-term viable mother, those are the kings. Go after those guys. The guys that just come up to you and they talk to every fucking girl around them, and then they talk to you, and their eyes are glued to your fucking tits and ass, are not the guys I want you talking to. Stop talking to the fuckboys, and they will die out eventually. All right, ladies? That is, I swear to God, if we do not kill off the fuckboys, they will maintain themselves. And on the flip side, ladies, don't be overly promiscuous. Don't go out flaunting just your tits and your ass. You are much more than just your physical body. You have a soul, you have a spirit, you have a brain, and you have emotions. You actually experience emotions at a much higher rate and, I don't want to say like magnitude than men, but I mean, let's be real. Women cry a hell of a lot more than men, so let's just kind of project that out. Maybe they experience emotions to a higher degree than men. So we want to see that. We want to see your mental abilities. Men like myself, I hate it when women act ditzy just because they think it's cute. I understand the whole submissive nature that women will sometimes want to appear less intelligent because a more masculine, assertive, dominant man wants to be the one in charge. I understand that tendency, but still flaunt your intelligence, flaunt your emotions, flaunt all your capabilities and the things that you are passionate about, your dreams in life, because real men want to see it. It will drive more interest in these men towards the women. All right. And then the last thing I want to cover is just a real quick, PSA, beware the fuckboys. If the immediate conversation within the first couple lines goes to, hey, what's your number? I want to hang out. Before they ask you any questions at all, just, remove yourself from that conversation. Okay, ladies? Be safe out there. Understand the signs, because if that guy does not ask you anything that leads us to kind of gain information about your long-term viability as a mate, they are not interested in being a mate. They're not interested in the long term. All right? Let's not be stupid and just give out our numbers willy-nilly to every fucking guy that wants to dangle his fucking cock in front of you. That is wild. That is egregious levels of work. I mean, if you want to be a hoe, go be a hoe. But if you want a husband, you need to be more secure. You are the gatekeepers to your sexuality. You are the gatekeepers to your emotions, your mental state, and all the energy that enters into you. Okay? You are like the divine chalice. And the man is just like the fucking holy water that fills it up. Alright? So don't let some sewage go into the chalice. Alright? Hold it off. Make sure that they work for it. And then when you do find the right guy, try and hold off on having sex with him. I'm going to post the sex magic video, probably. I'm going to probably repost it. Until you're dating. Because for men, it's different from women. Oxytocin works completely different. Men, we need commitment to release the most amount of oxytocin. Women release that through orgasm. Okay? That's why we have so many situationships. We give up sex too fast. It gets the women addicted. And then the men get this rub-off sort of oxytocin effect, where if the woman is, releasing all this oxytocin from her brain into her body and she feels good, the man feels good. But guess what? After enough sex, you start getting this thing called diminishing returns. That means you get less and less oxytocin per, clapping them cheeks sesh. Okay? So, and that's why it usually is 1 to 3 months. That's a situationship. The oxytocin dries up, and then the people realize, hey, I have nothing in common with this other person. They're not actually interested in me. The sex is great and all, but I don't want to be around you because I can't stand your personality. Let's actually change the dating game, ladies. Let's show an interest in the man's personality before we just want to show the narcissistic need to feel fulfilled through lustful sex. I understand it feels good. I understand oxytocin's awesome. You get a little bit of dopamine from it. Even the attention that you receive from all these different men, the validation you receive from all these different men, it feels good. But at the end of the day, the most fulfilling thing you can ever have in your life is one guy that loves you above all else. That's it. That's all you really want. And then you want to have kids with him. You want to have a full life with him. He's going to take you on adventures. He's going to take you through everything you could possibly imagine in life. All right? That's what you want. So you have to do a little bit of the legwork at the beginning to use the discernment to decide, is this guy good for me long term, or is he just here to clap some cheeks in the short term? All right, ladies, that's pretty much all I got for you. If you have any more questions or want me to discuss further principles about dating, sexuality, stuff like that, just hit me in the comments. I will answer anything. I've read like 20 books at this point on dating and sexuality just because it's interesting to me and I love it. So ask me literally anything and I'll give you my perspective and help you guys out. Because at the end of the day, all I care about is more fulfilling relationships, more children, more marriages, more people falling in love, and more people removing themselves from the tendrils of lust. Because lust is not good. It is bad for you and it will always lead to despair and decay and entropy in life. All right, ladies, and the couple guys that listen to this one, love you. Have a wonderful day.